What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Welcome back. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. So let's talk about Coming to America, the sequel. Let's talk about it. So before I get into my opinion, my review, my rant and raving on it, let me start here. I am one of those people that never walks into a sequel with high expectations. Because there are very few exceptions to the rule, but the sequel is never better than the original. Now there are some exceptions to the rule, Sister Act being one of them. Sister Act 2 is way better, in my opinion, than Sister Act 1. If you gave me the choice, I'm gonna always watch Sister Act 2 before I'm gonna watch Sister Act 1. Now I enjoy Sister Act 1, but let's be clear. Lauryn Hill, come on. Sister Act 2, everything. But for me, in most cases, even if the sequel is good, it's never better. And so, with that being said, I didn't walk into this with high expectations. I've seen not reviews because I try not to watch reviews, but I've seen comments and people saying things here and there about the sequel, and most people seem to be disappointed in it. And I feel like the people that are disappointed are the people who were looking for this to be better than the original, and I just don't know if it can be. First of all, the movie is 30 years old, so we've had 30 years to let this movie fester in our mind, our memory. We've memorized it. We've watched it 5,000 times. Like, I just don't know if it can be better. Two, I feel like Eddie Murphy did this for us, not for him. I feel like he did it as a favor to the fan base, not because he genuinely was like, I feel like I left something on the table and I want to continue this story. And so because of that, it came off as, I'm doing this for y'all. And what I mean by that is, the sequel was so full of puns and throwbacks to the original and jokes that you would never get if you never watched the original. It was so full of just stars. Like, it was like everybody wanted a piece of Coming to America, the sequel. So everybody just was thrown in there. I mean, we had everybody from Morgan Freeman to Salt and Pepper. I mean, and that was in the first 5 minutes of the movie, y'all. And so I'm not going to say I didn't like it. I'm going to say that it just was what it was. I mean, I don't know what to say. So let's talk a little bit about it. So we pick up. I'm not gonna give too many spoilers because most of y'all have probably watched it already. If not, it is what it is. But I ain't gonna do too many spoilers. But we pick up. Basically, it's been 30 years, but it seems like Prince Hakeem, him and his wife, they started a little late because their oldest daughter doesn't seem like she's 30 years old. But, well, she's not supposed to be 30. She's under 30. But they have 3 daughters, and so of course the big thing is he never had a son. And we know in a royal monarchy that is a very patriarchal world. Prince, we have queens. Obviously, we have the Queen of England. But in most cases, the ideal is for there to be a son. So the big thing is that Prince Hakeem has not sired a son. Now, James Earl Jones, the father, is dying. And we find out on his deathbed that they've kept a secret from him for all this time, that they know that he has a son in Queens. Now, I'm not telling y'all nothing that y'all ain't already read. We know that the story is based on the fact that he has a child. Leslie Jones plays his mother. They do a really good job, in my opinion, of splicing through that timeline of the original Coming to America and splicing in when this could have happened between him and Leslie Jones, and the whole situation could have went down. Now, I'm gonna be honest and tell you, when I first heard what the storyline was gonna be, and honestly, halfway through the movie, I felt the same way. I thought that it was going to end up being that it wasn't really his son, that it was Simi's son, aka Arsenio Hall, and somewhere along the line, we got it twisted, and because he needed a male heir, they was willing to lie about it. Because there was even a point when Prince Hakeem first met Leslie Jones, and he said something about I'm your father, you know, to the little boy. Well, he ain't the little boy, but to his son. And Leslie Jones was like, "You are? Oh yeah, you are." Well, you know, I was a hoe back then. And my thing is, so I felt like they opened the door for there to be a question mark about his paternity. And so the whole movie, I kept waiting for this other shoe to fall that never failed. The other thing that we have planned is we have a really good storyline that plays into women and women's roles. We find out that Zamunda is still very archaic in what women can and can't do, like even down to women not being able to own businesses. And you know, you're like, well, dang. I mean, Eddie Murphy married this strong woman who was helping her dad run his own business. Like, in all this time, he ain't been able to change nothing. But he wasn't king. He was the prince. Up until this recently. Now, Wesley Snipes' character plays like a Edie Amin type character. And we find out that Vanessa Bell Calloway's character, that's her brother. And so there's that connection. And basically, he's threatening to invade and overthrow because they see Prince Hakeem as being weak. So I think they set up a decent storyline as far as all of that and connecting some dots. But I just, again, I feel like they focus too much on giving us the nostalgia from the first movie. For example, I don't know if you guys caught it. Real Coming to America fans would have caught it. In the fighting scene at the beginning of the movie with Eddie Murphy and his three daughters, when they had the bloopers with the stuntman, on one part his daughter's wig falls off, on another part it is clearly not his daughter that's doing the flipping and turning. Well, if you go back to the original Coming to America, that was like a blatant blooper that was in the original movie, that the stuntman, when Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall are doing the whole fighting scene, like that's a blatant blunder, you know. And so they put it in the next movie. They put it in the sequel. You know, of course we had McDowell's again. We had we had all of the characters from the barbershop. We had Randy Johnson. We had the preacher. Like, you gave us that, and let's be clear. Had those people not made some sort of cameo, I think we would have all been disappointed. But I feel like in some places, some things were forced in. You know what I'm saying? They were sort of pushed on us. Ultimately, though, I think we did a good job of continuing the story. I mean, I give it a C. I give it a C. But remember, I didn't walk into this expecting an A either. You know, I know for me personally, I don't know if I've necessarily been waiting on a sequel. Like, there are certain movies that I would love to have a sequel of, but I know it would ruin, I think, my original experience. For example, Love Jones. I love Love Jones. I love everything about Love Jones. I have watched Love Jones so many times, it is ridiculous, okay? I would absolutely love to see where those characters are. Nina and Darius, where are y'all now? Whatever happened to you? Did you become a famous photographer? Did you become a famous writer? How did the book do? You know, I would love to see your friends and their relationships and how that evolved. You know, I would absolutely love to get a where are they now, but I don't know if I want a 2-hour continuation. And I feel like that's how I feel about a lot of my classics from the 80s and 90s. Like, I just don't feel like I need a sequel for everything. Sometimes things are just perfect the way they are, and just let them be what they're going to be. I absolutely did not like the whole grooming him to be a prince thing. I feel like okay, so let me say this. My biggest complaint is that I feel like the whole thing was rushed. In the original Coming to America, they were in Queens for weeks. They were there for a couple of weeks at least. Maybe a little bit longer, a little bit less. We know they were there long enough to get a paycheck. When they started working at McDowell's, we know they were there long enough to get a paycheck, right? So I feel like his son coming to Zamunda and falling in love in a day, to the point where he's willing to buck everything and everybody take this girl back to America and marry her. I really am just like, I don't know if I'm buying that. I feel like you didn't give us enough time. I don't know. I just feel like you didn't give us enough time to fall in love and to buy the love story. Now, I get it that I think he was there like 2 weeks because they were able to push the wedding back 2 weeks or something like that. So, okay, that was 2 weeks, but I don't know. It just seemed rushed to me. I mean, do y'all understand what I'm saying? Put it in the comments. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe y'all don't get it. Maybe y'all don't agree. Tell me how you felt about it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it worth the 30? Well, it wasn't worth the 30-year wait. Well, tell me if you think it was worth the 30-year wait. I can't tell you how you feel. But I just, for me, that was just my biggest thing. I just feel like I feel like the storyline was really rushed. Maybe because of COVID and they had to, film it the way they filmed it, because I think they only filmed it in a couple of weeks. But I will say this, Eddie Murphy, thank you. Thank you for bringing it to us. Thank you for bringing us the sequel. Because Coming to America was such a classic, I'm not mad that I got to see. You know what I'm glad they didn't do? I'm glad they didn't have Prince Hakeem and the princess breaking up and them having a horrible marriage. You know what I'm glad to see? I'm glad to see that this is a man who loved his daughters despite the fact that he should have had society told him he was supposed to have a son. You could see that he had a relationship with his daughters. You could see that he was active in their growing up. I love the fact that the daughters had very distinct personalities, and they were different hues and different interests, but they were all beautiful. Oh, they were all beautiful. I love it. I loved it. Did y'all know that the house that they filmed it in was Rick Ross? That is Rick Ross's mansion in Atlanta, Georgia. It is the largest swimming pool in North America of a private residence. I'm gonna say that one more time. The largest swimming pool of a private residence in North America. I knew that Rick Ross had an enormous estate on a lot of land. I did not know it was that vast. But yeah, so Rick Ross absolutely, we know he has a cameo in the movie. Who else was in the movie? See, I don't want to start calling all people because then I'm going to forget somebody. Gladys Knight, Morgan Freeman, like I said, Salt and Pepper, Rick Ross, who's that comedian? Blackson was in there. We know Tracy Morgan, Tiana Taylor, Rotami, see, I'm gonna miss some people, so I don't even want to just start, calling people. Vanessa Bell Calloway, Garcelle was in there, but you know what? They still gave us a great. The costumes were beautiful. The costumes were absolutely gorgeous. And you know what else I could say positive? Those people ain't age. I mean, either the makeup department was was doing the damn thing or what, but they did not age. Oh my gosh, they were beautiful. Oh my goodness, these people looked beautiful. So that is my 2 cents. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.